Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Conodger here. Welcome back to the Mindcrack server for the 90th time. Only 10 to go until the big century mark, 100 episodes on the Mindcrack server. I've got big plans for that. Or maybe not big plans. I have plans for that though. I have something brewing in the old noggin. An idea for the 100th episode, but we aren't quite there yet. But today, as you're watching this, is actually the... Oh, there's more salmon in here. Hey, salmon, salmon, salmon. Is the eve of Christmas. It's actually Christmas Eve for me. Trying to get a little bit ahead because I know the holidays are going to throw a little bit of a wrench to my normal recording schedule. So, recording this here on a Sunday. But Merry Christmas to all those that do the Christmas things. I'm going to have a little bit of holiday season discussion here today. It's something I've talked about in the past, and we're going to talk about it again today because I want to. But I do want to take a quick moment to say thank you to everybody for tuning into these and following along and enjoying our conversations with Lord Puffins and enjoying my often introspective and retrospective and spective episodes with some rather heavy topics and such. It's not always the most fun, easy going of series here, but I appreciate everybody that follows along, joins in the conversation, and is overall pretty supportive, usually, of the things that I'm talking about. Even to those that are maybe unsupportive and the antagonists. Wait, is it protagonist, antagonist? Which one's the one that is against you? Either way, you need both sides. You can't have everybody on your side because then you're just getting kind of a skewed perspective on life, aren't you? You gotta have some people that are there almost kind of poking and prodding at you, being the negative side to help inspire you to keep moving on. Not to say that I want more people to be negative, because there's no lack. There's no lacking of negative here on the internet. But I just understand and realize that it's part of the game and it's part of life. So that is that. That is what I wanted to say. And also, I like the farm. The farm's come out really nice. The vines are growing in, and overall, I think it's completing the look that I wanted. The only thing I didn't really do is anything with this, and honestly, I don't know that I am. I'm just gonna leave it kind of as a plain aqueduct, and then obviously it has a more fancy system over there. But it's all good. I like it. I like it a lot. And then today we're gonna start a new project. We're gonna keep expanding the Conabode space here. I think this is the next area I'm going to move into, which makes me happy because I'm getting closer to this lava fall, and I've always really liked this particular space. The project that I have in mind is one that I wasn't sure if I was going to do or not. Oh no, it's nearly nighttime. Yeah, I wasn't sure if this was something I was going to do, because I already did a version of it on the first Farlander Patreon server, and that is a garage setup. I did kind of like a Formula 1 shop there, and I think the reason for that is open wheel cars are the easiest cars to make in Minecraft on a small scale. I don't really know what kind I'm going to do this time, but I do want some kind of Cone's Garage setup. It feels like a natural fit for the Conabode. So we're going to start that project today. Just going to lay some foundation and get a general idea as to what we want to do. And I'm going to stay within the construction theme. So I want it to look like a pretty realistic building, but this time obviously a little bit more industrial themed. Alright, let me sleep off the night and we'll hop out there and start laying some groundworks, I suppose. So over here is where I'm thinking indeed to put a garage, and the reason for that is it's kind of flat ground. I don't want it up on the hill there because it just doesn't make a lot of sense to have it there. But if we're honest, does it make sense at all to have a garage in Minecraft? There's no vehicles. There's no driving. There's no roads. So it's all pretty fantasy. I think what I would like to do is tie in some kind of rail system to it. We already have a boat system in the works. We have walkways. And I want to continue some of that like transport theme. So it would be neat to have the garage area have some kind of tie-in to a rail network, I believe. Some kind of simple rail network. So I think that will be our transportation connection over here. But I want to do the same thing that I did with the main Kona boat, and that is, let's lay a foundation. Let's make ourselves like a basement area, and then a frame support structure with that, and we'll kind of just go from there. And where do I want to do that? I'm trying to debate that currently. I'm thinking here, and have, where do I want the face of the building to be? Do I want it to face this way? Yeah, I think I do, because then we'd see it from the guano connection. So I like that idea. And I think what I want to do, yeah, let's say, do I have any torches on me? I do. So let's say here, and then, so this is what? 16, 17. So that's 27. What would this be right here? 37. Okay, that's 20. That's a good width, I think. And then I think I want to have a little bit more depth. So 70. So that's 10. That's 20. Let's go back 25. So here. And then over to here. So this is going to be another one of these kind of, not candy cornered, but one of the corners of the building will be a little bit buried, which is overall a theme. I did hear a zombie over here, so it's not impossible that we'll have ourselves some zombie or some caves to deal with. But yeah, let's start clearing this square out. And I think I'm just going to do it down to this level for now, but maybe I'll dig it in later. Alright, so, project laid out. How is about a little bit of a topic, a bit of talk about Christmas. Now, no matter which, wintry or summery, Australian, holidays you happen to celebrate, or maybe you don't celebrate at all. For me personally, Christmas has always been the holiday, which is interesting because I am personally, and do not personally come from, certainly a highly religious family. Very, very vague ties into any kind of religious background. But when it comes to the United States, when it comes to America, and most, I would say this is probably true for most countries that I'm aware of, Christmas is a holiday that nearly everybody to some degree celebrates, and the reason for that is children, because it became such a gift. What was I trying to do with shears there? A gift-giving holiday. It's an excuse basically to spoil children and each other as adults for a day, for an occasion. That's that. I mean, that might not be true for everybody, but I think that's the main reason that the holiday is as celebrated or as big a deal as it is. I don't want to go too deep into that stuff. You could certainly find some hefty debate there, because it is a holiday that's based upon religious beliefs and strong historical background, and then in modern terms it's become very so commercialized. I don't personally really have a lot of feelings or emotions towards that, because I don't personally share those same beliefs. So I definitely understand why somebody that does, you know, celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or anything for the reasons of purely, you know, religious belief, probably not too pleased with the fact that it's such a commercial holiday now. But for me, basically it's always been a commercial holiday. Basically it has always been a thing. Whoops. Oh, wait, that cave's real close. Oh well. Basically, it's always been a thing that is a reason to share gifts with each other. And that's the basic topic of what I want to cover today, is gift giving and gift receiving. I've kind of had I feel like I use this word a lot recently, a dubious relationship with that. And that, sure, especially as a kid, getting presents, having Christmas morning is amazing. It's a great feeling. It's a day of the year of pure joy and excitement, and, you know, pre-Santa era, Santa era, and post-Santa era, all of those all have their individual joys for a child. And I honestly can say that despite the fact that I did not grow up in a wealthy family by any stretch of the imagination, I always felt like Christmas was an extremely exciting time, and I have basically nothing but really fond memories of Christmas because of, you know, basically, I'm sorry to say this is just the reality of it, basically because of the gifts. You know, that was the big deal for me as a kid, and that's probably the same for most people. That was the thing that made you excited. And as an adult, I'm extremely appreciative and thankful to my parents for how much effort they always put into it. For, as, you know, not really well off as we were or are, they did and still do go all out to try and make that a very a happy day, even if it's extremely materialistic, and, you know, it's really a value of things that makes the day special. There's still a lot of effort and a lot of love that goes into that. You know, it's not just trying to, you know, buy happiness, which, I mean, that's a take on it I could certainly see a person getting, but there's a lot more to it than that. And it's just, generally, to me, it's so much effort to be a day of distraction from the way that things are. You know, it's a day to just be happy and just enjoy things, and of course, you know, the whole, like, non-materialistic side of it, and enjoy each other's company, enjoy seeing each other happy. And that's the part where, you know, the gift giving is so good. You get to do something for somebody else to make them happy, and you get to see that happen in real time. Because that doesn't really happen terribly much day to day, I don't think. Speaking of day to day, what time of the day is it? Should I sleep? Where's the sun at? Yeah, it's almost nighttime. So yeah, in day-to-day life, sure, you may do something that makes somebody happy. You held a door open for somebody, and that was the thing that made their day. 90% of the time, you have no idea that you made a positive impact on somebody's day. That's the way that it is. The things that you do to make other people's days better aren't always obvious or noted. So it's a pretty special thing when, on a holiday, you actually get to see a cause and effect there. You purposely went out to make somebody's day better, and you got to see it happen in front of you. So that's where, you know, the whole gift giving process is, to me, a positive and something that I've always enjoyed. It's wonderful to receive gifts, gifts. It is wonderful to receive gifts, I must say, especially from Kurt J. Mac, the gift master. But it's also wonderful to receive gifts and to give them. The dubious part comes in, and we'll talk about this tomorrow, is the opposite side of that is the pressure and sometimes the imbalance of what you can gift or what you can receive. So as a kid, this is not something that I ever thought about, really. And honestly, as a kid, I never really thought about me or my family as being poor or unwealthy. I never really had that kind of perspective. And I think that's partially because the area that I grew up in, not a lot of wealthy people there. Like, that wasn't something that I honestly had a lot of interaction with. My brother probably did more so than me, because where I was born and where he initially grew up was so much dramatically different from where I grew up. There was certainly, a lot of different, I don't want to say higher class, but, wealthier people than us mixed into that. Have I been digging this too far back? I have been. This is only supposed to go to here. I'm messed up. I'll do that, so that I know. Yeah, so honestly, it never occurred to me that we weren't particularly well off, but I think a lot of that boils down to the fact that, my parents did put in so much effort, and that they always tried to make sure that we never felt like we were going without or had any less than anybody else. Obviously, as I grew older, I started to understand kind of our place in the world a little bit more, and just how much effort it took on their part to do all that. And it definitely changed my perspective on the whole gift-giving thing. It changed my perspective on how much I enjoyed giving versus how much I enjoyed getting. As a kid, I always kind of didn't like the gift-giving process because I didn't have, money, and I didn't have the ability to... Oh, apparently I missed. Apparently that's supposed to be one further back. I didn't have the ability to have that, significant positive impact. Now, nobody expects children to have that kind of impact. I think I just, even as a pretty young child, I always felt like I was embarrassed about, what I could give versus what I received. I don't know what age I was at when I made that realization, but it feels like it was probably pretty young. And honestly, I just felt like I've never particularly been able to shake that, because I've never been in the position to really often, go above and beyond. And most of the people, or some of the people in my family, they have the ability to basically get what they want, and it's hard to, I don't want to say compete, but basically that's what it is. I can't compete with what I can get them versus what they can get themselves. So you try to make up for it with, things that are heartfelt or just surprising, things that somebody would never get for themselves, things that they would never even think that they wanted, but you found and that they like. That's the part of it that's, fun to find, and it's the part that makes the gift giving process so enjoyable. But it doesn't always happen. It does not always happen. You can't always think of that magical thing for somebody. Is this loud? Should I turn down desktop audio? Turn it down. You can't always think of that magical thing that's gonna be surprising for somebody. Sometimes you just gotta phone it in and get something that the person will need, and it tends to be boring, and it's a lot of pressure. I put a lot of pressure on myself in that stuff. I want to be always always giving things that are surprising and, you know, things that somebody wouldn't just normally get for themselves. The older I get, the harder that becomes. Because, honestly, you just start running out of ideas. You know? Especially as things have gotten better for people, and they're able to kind of get the things that they want, and honestly, you just kind of start running dry, and I certainly feel that the last few years. It's just like, okay, I have no ideas left, and it almost kind of feels like, you know, you're just going through the motions of gift giving. And I've honestly thought about, like, would we have a better Christmas if we just didn't? If we just didn't, you know, exchange gifts at all? You lose that magical moment, you know? You lose that moment of the surprise of, you know, that gift that somebody just never expected. So even though I go back and forth on it, I still find the gift giving and receiving process to be a cornerstone, and at least for me / my family, an important thing. Oh, I thought I lost my pick, but it's right there. But it's certainly something that I have gone back and forth with. And I've always felt there has to be either a very big cave or a dungeon down here. We're gonna find it. I mean, there is this cave right here. Oh. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sounds like there's lots of things in there. Let me get my sword out. Huzzah! Ouch. You hurt me. What if there's a dungeon up there? Do I have any sticks? No, I tossed my sticks out. So at the end of the day, basically what I've decided is, I still like the gift-giving stuff. It certainly gets harder. It certainly gets harder. And oh, there is a dungeon. Neat. We got a dungeon in our, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Never mind. We'll just pretend we didn't see that. Yeah, anyway. Anyway. I hope that everybody, you know, connected within my family knows that not every year I'm gonna have that big special gift or this big special moment. And I think part of what I want to try and change to fix that is no more purchased. No more purchased gifts. Which is kind of a funny cycle of things, isn't it? Because as a kid, one of the things that you typically give for Christmas as a gift, or, you know, whatever holiday, is a made present. And those made presents were usually pretty tacky, let's be honest. We all made some kind of terribly tacky present to give to somebody for Christmas. We all did it. But those are often very appreciative, because you know, as an adult, you know that that's, especially from a child, basically the most thoughtful and caring gift that they can give. But usually that stops at a point. Usually, once you start to have your own money, you start giving the material gifts. And I think that's because of the pressure of all the material gifts that you received, you know, as a child. You start to be like, well, I want to be able to give stuff like that. I want to be able to make somebody, you know, get that really cool toy that they always wanted. When in reality, those really cool toys don't always, you know, exist for adults. They don't share that same emotion. So now I find myself swimming back the other side. Did I say swimming or swinging? I hope I said swinging. I'm swinging back to the other side where, well, yes, now that I'm an adult, sure, I could buy things. But what I really want to do is more made presents, because it just seems so much more real. It seems so much more I guess thoughtful, but, you know, it's not, it gets you out of that purchased thing. It gets you out of the person could just buy them themselves, buy whatever this gift is themselves arrangement. It's basically a free pass on that. Now, it's not a free pass because a lot of those projects and crafted gifts take a lot of time and a lot of money to do, but not everybody is like that. Not everybody likes the trinkets or, you know, just the mementos, the created gifts. I've known people and you know, had friends and given gifts to people that ended up, you know, not really appreciating the made presents. They wanted the material things, or they wanted the, you know, store-bought things. But I think at least for my family, pretty much everybody appreciates the homemade gifts. And what I want to do moving forward is more of that, more of the homemade gifts. Did pretty good this year. Luckily, I have a very, well, let's not say luckily, but the situation that it is that I have a very small family. The amount of people that I give gifts to anymore is pretty shockingly small, because well, there's just not that many of us left. So the ability to actually be able to do that seems like it's something that's plausible. And I think that's where I want to try and go in the future, is if you're going to get a gift from me, it's going to be something handmade. Trying to come up with something for everybody each year, sure, it's going to be difficult, but I think it will actually reduce stress for me, because I won't have this 2-week period before Christmas of, oh no, what am I going to get this person? Is that a phantom noise? No, it can't be. We've slept every night. Just a Minecraft noise. Yeah, because that's, I mean, I'm certainly in that position now, and I have people that are probably not going to get anything because their present has arrived in the mail on time, and blah, 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 blah. Finishing... Where's that zombie? Finishing projects on time is equally as difficult, I would say, but I think it's more understandable. Like, here's your half-finished project versus, oh, your gift didn't arrive in the mail on time. Still, though, the half-finished project feels a lot more heartfelt than, well, I didn't think about you in time, and your present didn't come in time. I don't know. What's your guys' opinion on that? Which style of gift or gift giving do you like? Do you even like gift giving? Are you of the style where you wish your family didn't, or maybe they don't? Maybe you don't exchange gifts with anybody. How does that work out for you? I'm very curious to hear what people's perspective on this topic is, because yeah, it's something that I honestly, I don't know. It's something that's important to me, and I enjoy thinking about it and talking about it. I've enjoyed thinking about, like, well, what would it be like if we didn't exchange gifts? I should stop talking so I can sleep off this night. Another little snippet of this, just to close this out here. This is something, it's a subject that's been on my mind a little bit more recently than usual. Not really sure why. Because you're almost 32 and you don't have any kids. Who was that? Get out of here. Get out of here. We don't need your midlife crisis talks in here. I've been thinking about if you could actually raise kids without the typical gift giving process. Like, what if you didn't do the whole Santa thing? Wait. I mean, Santa's totally real, everybody. Okay? Okay? But let's say he wasn't. Minecraft's a kid's show. Let's say he wasn't. And you didn't give presents in that way. In my mind, you would do that more for a birthday. A birthday, to me, seems like a more appropriate or just a appropriate time to give, you know, the toys and gifts that that a kid wants growing up. It's a perfect opportunity. Everybody has a birthday, and everybody in general celebrates the birthday, and it doesn't have any ties to anything else. You know, it doesn't have any ties to a religious practice or anything. So it's always made sense to me that your birthday should be your present, you know, giving or gifting day. But what about if instead, for Christmas, you raised a kid to only get things of like the homemade nature for Christmas? Something, you know, what if it was a time for each other to share handmade goods, or just, you know, worldly things found for each other, mementos, trinkets, barn finds with each other, you know, things that have actual, you know, actual value. What if you raised a kid like that? What if you found them things that you know, actually meant something to them, something that had, you know, real emotional value to them? Obviously, that you're not going to be able to do that until they have, you know, some kind of grasp on the world. You know, your 2-year-old's not going to understand when you find some kind of, you know, perfect, I don't know, some kind of perfect thing that symbolizes their the day that they were born, or something like that. You know, something that's, you know, heavily tied to them. That's the kind of stuff I was kind of thinking of. They're not going to really grasp that or understand that, but probably, you know, not, actually, I don't really need toys anymore. You know, not terribly long into their development, they're going to start to understand that, and you can give them things that they will understand, you know, as they grow up. Could you actually do that? Could you actually raise a child like that? Or would society basically treat you like you're committing child abuse for not giving a child gifts for Christmas? You know, toys and the Walmart specials, you know, all the silly little stuff that they wanted. Sure, that stuff's important, but in general, you could probably get away with just, you know, getting them the toys and stuff that they desire to play with on any other occasion, or, you know, just as rewards for, you know, I don't want to say good behavior, but, you know, just, you know, doing well with things, and or just, you know, through natural growing up. What noise am I hearing? You guys hear some kind of weird mob noise? Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know that you could do it. I really don't know that you could do it. I feel like society, the people around you, your friends, your coworkers, they're gonna look at you like you're an animal. They're gonna look at you like you are literally the worst if you did that, I believe. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding the way that people approach that subject, but it just feels like that's the way it would be treated. Would you stop people? Would you stop people from getting your kid, you know, presents? Because people are going to want to. Other people are going to want to. I guess probably not, but they would just have to have the understanding that, you know, that's how they do things. That's not exactly how we do things. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's good that I'm approaching 30. Wait. I need the voice from above. No, midlife crisis voice wasn't here. You know, maybe maybe it's good that I don't have kids, because I would be a terrible parent for depriving them of presents. It's just one of those things that I've thought about. You know, how much different would it be? How would your view of the holidays be different? And might it be more meaningful? And might it be less stressful? You know, might it actually help with a little bit of character development? In that, you know, as a kid, you're going to have to, at some point, you know, start making or finding these gifts yourself, that's probably more pressure for a 7, 8-year-old than just, you know, buying whatever at the Santa's workshop at elementary school. That's you know, it's a lot of pressure, but I think you would probably have, you know, some kind of solid parental understanding of they did the best that they could. If they drew you a picture of the dog and it's a stick figure, then they tried, and they understood. They at least understood the reasoning for it. More so than they picked some random thing out of the gas station, you know, keychain rack to give you. Or the worst, I think, is when parents buy their kids things for them to give away. That one really blows my mind. I really want to throw away this pick. That one really, I don't understand, you know, what good is being done there? What is that doing for anybody? Interesting subject. I'm glad I went there. I wasn't sure if that was something too personal to talk about, but I think it's actually pretty good and pretty interesting. I want to try and get those blocks and not have them despawn. I should really be using my shulker box that was gifted to me. It was a present. I should be using it. It was even handcrafted for me. I know that there is some parents that watch this series, including perhaps one of my own. But I mean parents of like young kids currently that do follow along. So I'm curious to see what their opinions of this whole subject are, because I know lots of, you know, parents of little ones, like parents of kids in the 10 and under category, or even the 5 and under category, and they're still like super into the toy process and the buying the goodies and super excited and giddy over that toy that they got Billy Sue that they're just gonna love. And maybe that's fine. Maybe that's also just a way that some people, you know, feel the best. They feel like they're having the most enjoyment for them, and they're making their loved ones, you know, the happiest. But I'm just curious if there's maybe some other ways. Regardless of that, and no matter which way you celebrate the holidays, I hope you have a good one. I hope you have a nice, relaxing time. It's certainly something that I wish was part of the holiday season. I wish it was a time for relaxation. I think that's the greatest style of holiday we could give modern society, is just some kind of downtime. I wish we treated like New Year's week or Christmas week or whatever, some kind of week, as like an international or a national or just a societal downtime. Let's all just take some time to not be preoccupied, not be worried, not be, you know, shopping and stressed, and just take some time to chill. I institute a new holiday, Chill Day. But regardless of that, no matter which way you celebrate, hope you have a great one, and I will see you all next time.